Welcome to the Footy Museum and the Footy Museum podcast. As you can see, Maria was in Sveg.
Sveg!
Yeah. How was your trip?
It was great. I don't know how to say that in Swedish, but it was great. I learned one Swedish word.
What was it? Sveg?
It was, hey. No, I learned a few more than that, but that was the one I used the most.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just hey?
Well, that's how you say hi. So
Oh, hey.
just, hey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone's
Well,
pals.
Nothing much happened here other than the Fire cemented their legacy as the worst possible team in the league, once again missing out on the playoffs. All they had to do is win one of their last remaining two, and they just laid down. It was bad. Painful. So they are a complete mess, and I don't know what to say, really. Some people are like, this team owner, I hate it. It's just like, if you want people to care, you better start doing something.
We just bought our season pass.
Oh.
We got our rebate from the Miami game when we went for it. We bought season tickets.
I have a season pass too. Where's your seats?
I had 210, I want to say.
Oh, you went to the second level.
Yeah, well, we did just go to Sweden, so.
Well, we are now all glutton for punishment next year. Can't wait to see you at the Miami game. And actually, there's some people this last week this is from the Daily Herald, our friends at the Daily Herald, which is kind of a suburban-y Chicago. It's not really a Chicago newspaper. It's more suburban based. Suggesting that maybe they should MLS to just fold the Fire and start over. Much like they did with Chivas USA and Los Angeles, making way for LAFC. So keep a franchise in Chicago, but get rid of the Fire, start new.
But why? Why not just I don't know. There are other ways to inject new life without starting fresh.
Yeah. I think and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. I think MLS has an obsession with launching new clubs.
Because it's fun and it feels good.
And I think that the Fire is one of the oldest clubs, but still only 6 years old. So it's not really that old. And I feel like you have to have these fallow periods to really have a history, and think for everyone who is a fan through this abysmal period, think how great it's going to be when we win what will be then called the Ultra Leagues MLS.
I'll hit
Sippy
Apple,
cup.
Google.
So I say don't fold the Fire. Just freaking fire the sporting director and get some good players to surround a DP and let's get a stadium. That's what I say. Even though you and I both bought seats for Soldier Field next year.
Yeah.
Soldier Field gets a lot of hate. I don't
Why do
dislike
people hate it?
I think because a lot of games it's just empty.
Oh.
The food choices aren't great. They're expensive.
Yeah. That's
Location though, it's
I always
dynamite.
thought that's just
best
stadiums
location.
in America is just expensive food that
A lot of the
only
new
okay.
stadiums and even MLS have really good food choices
Really?
and things. Yeah, it's much better.
I wish I didn't know that.
Well, you don't. You did. Just pretend you were Maria from a few seconds ago. And if you want to improve your mood more, look at this standing.
Oh, yes. I can gloat about this.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Leeds United is winning games. They're winning games. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually, I know in the past I've said things that winning isn't everything.
But it's a pretty great thing.
Oh, my tummy feels so warm. It feels so nice. It's it is fun. What's fun? It's fun to watch the players play confidently and celebrate, and the fans celebrating. That's what's fun about it. That and just winning is fun. And no one being what's gonna happen?
Vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone just kind of the team's really starting to gel. Some of the new players are finding their feet. I still get anxious whenever Bamford comes on the field because he did miss a penalty on Wednesday that resulted
maybe
in
even
a
the
loss.
championship is too much.
The poor man has the yips.
Oh,
he's got the yips. Yeah,
I think it's the hair.
He had the long hair and then he shaved his head.
Oh, see,
He needs to find something in the middle.
Oh, just normal hair.
Just hair. The right balance.
Maybe he should change his name to Ford Bam. Patrick Ford Bam.
That could work.
Ford Bam strikes again.
Patty Ford Bam.
Well, that's great. It's exciting. And I think this year in the championship, the top teams are really, they seem like on a different level. And it seems like the level of investment in them is higher than years past.
What
like
do you
Leicester's just rolling like they were still in the Premier League. They're like not even considering staying.
They retained a lot of their players, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The payrolls have stayed high in some of
that's
these
what
top
you mean.
teams. Anyway, so that's exciting. Anything you want to mention about the Premier League? I find without Leeds there, I'm not following as closely. I'm following, but like not as intensely. Like I'm getting worried about Forest.
Oh, well, we watch Forest. Jeremy follows Forest, right? So we watch Forest usually, and it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's not painful yet. Although, they played Liverpool and they lost, but it's Liverpool who's playing in pretty good form right now, right? I don't know. I haven't.
Well, it's always decent.
Yeah.
I just feel bad when Matty Turner gives up 3 goals.
Well, he had some good saves.
Yeah, he's
even
good.
Though he let 2 in, he had some good saves.
I just don't want to see another American on the relegation bubble.
Oh, that's what hurts.
Yeah.
There are other Americans who aren't? Question mark?
Well, who are they? I mean, like
Pulisic's
in Italy now.
Uh-huh.
We have
Adams went to Bournemouth, which
Fulham, but they're not doing great either.
Isn't Tim Ream out with his injury?
With his broken arm, or does he have another injury?
I thought he broke his arm.
No, he's back from that. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, just mended up right away. I guess arms aren't really important. You don't need an arm.
I'll double check while we talk here. And I know it was the Manchester Derby today.
It was,
but it was really one-sided.
It was.
I don't know. There was a very short-lived United renaissance. I think it's kind of over. It seems like.
That's sad.
I don't know that Ten Hag's going to make the season. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not part of that conversation.
Okay.
But I do enjoy the part of the season where all the managers get fired.
That's your favorite part of the season.
It's a lot of like weird little drama and like really poor decisions and stuff, and it's fun. And then a lot of mixing around, and it's like a little reality TV.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something very reality TV about managers fired part of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
We should start a reality TV show and call it The Sack.
The sack. Well, anyway, no, the arm is mended.
Oh, okay.
What else? It's still. I feel like it's still kind of. I know it's not that early, but it's still early enough where, like Tottenham being top of the league and like.
That's been fun to watch.
That's fun, but I still feel like it's like. I feel like Pep and City, like after the holiday break, are like, okay, now we play even more seriously, and then everything gets settled out. So I feel like I don't take it too seriously at this stage. It is cool to see, and I feel bad for Harry Kane, but it's almost maybe because he left.
Well, they had to change a lot of things because he left.
Yeah.
And if they
restructured it,
like things aren't working, and then they have to make a change, and then they still have talent there, then they don't have to build a team around one man anymore.
Yeah, that's good. And he's doing just fine at Bayern. So
for a while there, he wasn't, but.
Oh, we're not talking about it for a while. So let's go down with those. And it's also a special time of year because this is not a periodic table. This is the bracket for Major League Soccer's playoff schedule. And you may be asking yourself, why does it look so strange? Well, this year, I think in anticipation of Messi being in these said playoffs, MLS 1 added a wild card game because that's common around world football, right? Wild card games.
Wild card is a common term that's used globally.
Oh yeah, it's just tied up there with football. It's like footy, wild card, red card. Wait, what if they had a yellow card, a red card, and a wild card? And like, you can do whatever you want in the next 3 minutes. Oh no, he's pulled out the wild card.
Someone's going to emergency.
Oh no, Tim Ream is building a house in the middle of the field. And he would be a good carpenter, I bet too.
He looks like he'd be a good carpenter.
Yeah, he looks like he was a carpenter.
Looks like he could swing an axe.
And after the wild card round, this is the controversial part. Round 1 of the playoffs is a 3-game series where
Is that
it's home, away, home for the team with the higher seed. So it guarantees even the lower seed gets one away game, and it's a best of 3. And then it switches back to knockout for semifinal, conference final, and then MLS Cup. And a lot of people are asking, what is this? Why is this?
Isn't the whole point of it like a group or like that type of round? That's like the pre-season. That's a pre-playoff season. Is supposed to be that type of thing, right? Like,
I think the rationale of the league is one,
more games to broadcast.
Because playoffs are definitely the highest rated for MLS. And last year was record for that. But I think part of the reason was every game, it was like World Cup knockout rounds. Every game mattered. It was exciting. And I have to say, I watched the first 2 best of 3 games yesterday, which was LAFC Vancouver and and Philadelphia, New England. And there wasn't that urgency. I think once one team kind of finally did get ahead, there was almost a sense like we're going to wait it out. The Vancouver LAFC first half was pretty good, but it didn't have that feeling. And so I wonder, they are introducing the same as the Leagues Cup where there's no extra time. It's just straight to penalty kicks. Okay. So that's exciting. But I think the league also did it because they want, the theory is over 3 games, the better team's going to progress. And they didn't like how a team would work all season to be one of the top teams and they get knocked out first round of the playoffs. And they want the best teams in the final.
I guess that makes sense. And in that sense, it's kind of fair that way.
The confusing thing is it's not consistent. So it goes from single game knockout to 3 game to single. Maybe if you want to be like the NBA, just do 3 games all the way across. Then it would go forever. I don't know. I think the playoff structure is tough because it just doesn't lend itself to American style. And I think they had it pretty good. The single game playoffs last year were very exciting. The MLS playoffs. It was actually fun.
Yeah. I think, and if I can remember back, I do remember feeling like in the late stages of the playoffs last season, the teams were a little bit like bunkered down, a little bit reserved. Mm-hmm. And I remember not feeling that same way in the Leagues Cup. And I think the thing that solved it was that there was no extra time. Yeah,
so that could be a really benefit to this.
I don't know. Maybe that.
I also think the Leagues Cup had the benefit of there was nothing really at stake. Yeah. Knowing that like we can just go out and go for it.
Yeah.
And our position in the league is still fine. And no one knew what it was. I think next year you're going to see a lot cagier approaches because I think people are looking forward to it. And I think already that tournament has some more weight. Like that trophy actually means something now, I think. Yeah. I think it helps when Messi lifts the first one. But one of the teams in a few years who may be in this complicated system or whatever system they have at that point is San Diego FC. San Diego. And a couple weeks back, San Diego released, this is a new MLS club. They are playing in San Diego in Snapdragon Stadium where the San Diego Wave play, that beautiful new stadium. And they released, as many new MLS teams do, every year there's new MLS teams. They did a big brand release. And this is their shield, their badge. And it is meant to represent a lot of different things. The city of San Diego, obviously, not just by the name, but the colors chrome and azul on the outside, the chrome on the inside. The idea of the flow, which comes both from waves, water, but, just being in the flow.
Okay.
And then colors of the community, which I guess are also tied in with the azul. But outside's the idea of all these groups coming together, and then there's the shield. And then apparently, I haven't been to San Diego, but judging by this badge, the entire city is made of chrome. Is that correct?
I also haven't been to San Diego, but I hear a lot about the chrome.
It must be just chrome top to bottom, just like a bunch of Terminators walking around like.
Yeah, they shot Terminator in San Diego.
Yeah, it was just like live action.
Yeah.
I think because that's really the only reason why you would have this much
chrome
gradient. And like,
oh my god! I think.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
This would be a great crest for Detroit FC.
Oh yeah, it does look a lot, and I've heard that it looks like a hood ornament.
Yeah, it looks like a hood ornament. It looks like that kind of looks like a tire, the flow shape, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. I don't really understand what
flow.
the flow It looks to me like a tire shaped hood ornament. And I don't get the chill. This doesn't evoke San Diego for me.
It's hard edge. It seems dated. Like it seems like a very 90s thing or like early 2000s. And a lot of people have also been comparing it to you're not as familiar with these, but when you have an Apple Watch and you like do a certain amount of workouts or type of workouts, you get a little virtual activity badge that look almost exactly like these.
Jeremy said, go back. Jeremy said that the colorful ring around the outside looks like this badge uploaded a story to Instagram.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, especially because if you consider in San Diego you have the Wave, the league winning NWSL team that regularly sells out their stadium, and love it or hate it, this is San Diego. This badge, I mean,
it is.
It's like
I'm not crazy about the illustrative style, but it evokes a sense of place.
It's distinctive.
You couldn't put that anywhere else.
And then also the FC, San Diego FC is replacing a lower level team they currently have, San Diego Loyal, which actually has a pretty strong following. It's a very popular team, but they're going away. And also that is another crest that to me feels very San Diego or West. It's kind of unique. It's identifiable.
It has water in it.
It has water in it. This guy. It looks like something out of California.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they would then come to this, and we're not the only ones who have really had this thought. These are just some Threads posts from different reactions. Like, I love how can you. Thomas Hewitt writes, "How can you justify putting that much gradient in a badge in 2023?" I agree. Graham Ruthven, who actually is a commentator on a Total Soccer Show, says, "Prediction, this isn't the crest San Diego FC will start to play with as an MLS club." I agree. I think it's going to be another MLS special. Like, we heard you, we listened to you. And Manuveth, I don't know, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Imagine going from the Loyal to whatever the San Diego thing is. Honestly, it's like a car brand and a sheriff badge and an ugly baby. And then San Diego Wave is Barbie's Dream House. San Diego FC is Mojo Dojo Casa House.
It's true. I feel just
it's aggressive
by the patriarchy
in an ugly way. Yeah. And that's made worse that it wasn't the only misstep the team made this week, where it was announced that for next season, when they debut, they are getting priority of schedule over the Wave.
It's not a good look.
Now the Wave they won the league, NWSL, highest attendance records. They are selling out Snapdragon. They have that establishment. To come in and now in that community saying, okay, this women's team, they have to work around us because here we come with this badge. I wonder if it speaks to maybe an overall broader issue with the club. But I think it's two big missteps and two that they should really walk back. And I think it's kind of embarrassing for the league as well. I feel like for MLS, it's a bad look.
I read up on it a little bit. It seems like San Diego FC and the MLS's agreement with Snapdragon, like the expectation they would have priority scheduling over NWSL predated NWSL's agreement with the stadium, or the Waves agreement with the stadium. That's at least I skimmed. That's what I got from it. However, who could have predicted that the Wave is selling out the stadium?
Yeah.
And
it's a phenomenon. Yeah.
And who knows if San Diego FC will.
Well, that's the thing. it. We'll see. And I think even if that was a pre-agreement, I think there needs to be an awareness of the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's...
It is tone deaf. It is super tone
It is too, just like this design.
You have to think about the headline when things happen. Yeah.
So I was wondering, this crest, like so many now, especially in MLS, they really promoted, like, we had 18 billion focus groups, 45 meetings, 6,000 individual. So they're really selling the idea that it was designed by committee. And I was interested, like, what if we came up with a new crest for them, taking some of what their proposed main elements were, and just threw it into the new DALL-E 3 image generator tied into Chat.
I suppose that AI is kind of designed by committee because it's a culmination of
It's a bunch of things.
all of the intelligences
Yes.
of
So
humankind.
what I did is I went in and I asked, can you create a soccer badge for a team that plays in San Diego, who refers to themselves as a football club, that wants to represent the community, the idea of flow,
The concept of flow.
and then also and should reflect some of the more popular crest designs in the league, like LAFC or Atlanta United. And so first thing, ChatGPT took that, and then they said, okay, we heard what you said. Here's what we think we're going to bring the design badge on. So shape and color, it's a shield shape. They reflect contemporary nature of MLS, and it's represents strength, unity, and defense. Okay, the primary colors are navy blue and gold, representing the Pacific Ocean and sun-soaked beaches of San Diego. Now, this is all AI doing this. These colors also convey pride and prestige. Secondary colors include white and a hint of green, symbolizing purity, hope, and the city's lush parks and green spaces. So already winning, I would say, because not chrome and blades. Central symbol, a stylized sun rises over waves, illustrating San Diego's coastal location. The sun has multiple rays that extend outward, symbolizing the spreading influence and reach of the club. Below the sun and waves, a silhouette of San Diego's iconic skyline, including buildings like the Coronado Bridge, serve as a backdrop. Flow and movement. The waves under the sun are designed with smooth curves and gradient colors, representing the idea of flow. Yada, yada, yada. Community elements encircling the bottom half of the crest is a pair of hands, fingers interlaced, symbolizing community, unity, and mutual support. Team name and motto at the top of the crest, San Diego FC, is written in bold, modern typography. And then underneath, it says pride, unity, and flow. And the finishing touches. The shield is outlined in gold, giving it a polished and prestigious look. And to incorporate elements from successful MLS designs, the crest maintains a balance between minimalism and detailed symbolism. It avoids excessive ornamentation and instead focuses on strong, recognizable symbols that resonate with the local community. So thoughts. So remember, what I put in was just make a crest for San Diego with these things. And this is what it came back with.
Wonderful research assistant.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're trying to market these things. Now, this is the first one that came out from that description. A little AI.
Yes.
I would say it's got a lot.
It's got that kind of AI utopian, dystopian, what sense of...
Well, everything I noticed in AI is very symmetrical.
Yeah.
So it's totally symmetrical. Gradients are big. And it has like a cartoonish
everything's
quality.
a little like round and cartoony and like just so.
But then what I did, and
A
I
little
found
too
this
perfect.
interesting, is then you could go back and say, okay, good job, AI. I see what you're doing. Why don't we try to make it a little more minimal and a little more just the key elements? And then it came back with this. So now it's just the hands under the water and the city and the sun.
It's better, and they have pride, unity, flow on there.
Yes. Pride, unity, flow. And I love how it just came up with some dates randomly. 1956, 5-5.
5 out of 5.
5. We give ourselves 5 stars. And there actually are 3 stars. But it's there. But I was saying, it's maybe too much, maybe lose the sun and the skyline. And we try to incorporate just the elements of wave and community and soccer. And then it came back with this one. Interesting, right? The pride, unity, flow seems oddly placed.
Yeah, it's not all in, and there's like one too many periods or something.
Yeah,
Three too many periods.
but it's getting there. And
Uh-huh.
then I asked for one more round of um, revisions, kind of cleaning it up and focus, and we got to this. Now, I wouldn't say this is perfect, but I'm saying if you were like coming up with something, this would bring you like, in my mind, like 80% there. Do you know what I mean? You could do some tweaks on the color. You could then imagine how it looks stitched and things like that. But I actually found this surprisingly decent.
I think what it is in comparison to the actual one, the actual one's so bad, and or like just so not what it, and so San Diego.
Yeah.
And so like not there, that this one feels so much closer to what it should be. But also, I think AI as like a sketch generation tool, like a bit of a shortcut to save time in the sketching process for design, because designers typically put out just hours and hours worth of work sketching terrible sketches before they get to their first idea that is viable. I mean, it's kind of.
I agree. I think it's an interesting tool to really work through a lot of ideas first, because then, like I said, you could take this and then start to tweak and build off of it. And what's interesting is it even gave me some insight in maybe what they're trying to do with that saw blade, because in the AI version, it's real clear of waves into a soccer ball into hands, where maybe that flow idea was it, but it looks so much like a blade. It's just like,
it is aggressive.
But I think it says something. There's something else. Is all of this committee input in design? I know that's just put out there for marketing to like cover, say we ask people, but I do think if you have too many people in the room, you're going to end off base, because you're trying to appease. And even though it is like silly, like here's what DALL-E 3 can do and haha in your face, but it shows with just one person kind of adapting, you can get something more distinctive and more unique. And it also kind of it points to maybe it's just an issue with design and approach. There should be some trust with individual level more.
I think so too. I think people need to be more comfortable saying, you know what, maybe I have a huge stake in this team, but I don't actually care what the final design looks like, because my taste doesn't matter here, because I'm not a design expert. I am an owner of a football club or something like that. Or like, I'm just the COO. I'm just the...
Yeah, that's not my role.
Whatever,
The other conspiracy theory is always the old MLS intentionally released a bad design. So people love the next design no matter what.
I believe
so
it.
we can see that. One design that is doing very well from MLS is that of Lionel Messi's Miami kit. There was this story in the New York Times about the prevalence of that kit around the world. It's like the top selling jersey in the world, which is crazy for an MLS team. Someone online was like, yeah, but Messi's jerseys always sell well. Well, that's the point. But now it happens to be MLS. It's kind of a big deal.
You've never seen an MLS kit abroad ever.
But you have.
Until now. Until now. Oh my goodness.
What are we looking at here?
We're looking at like a plaza in kind of the downtowny area of Stockholm. And it was cold. It was like fall weather, under 50 degrees. So like there's not a lot happening in terms of like vendors outside. You know, typically if you go around traveling in types of places where there's markets and whatnot, you'll always see like counterfeit jersey stalls anywhere. But this is the only one I saw while I was there, besides just Swedish ones that were only selling Sweden jerseys. Anyways, I digress. When I saw that pink...
So this market stall is full of all the top players from around the world. Knockoff. These look like knockoff kits.
Yeah, they're knockoff kits.
But it's the top players, so like I imagine there's a Holland in there.
Yeah, you always...
There's an Argentina Messi
whenever
in there.
You see these around, you see like... Argentina, you see City, you see Chelsea, you see Liverpool, you see like Ronaldo's kits, you see Barcelona,
right?
Champions League teams, or like World Cup winners, and then there's the number 10 Messi pink jersey.
Well, they have the black and pink one.
They do, but the pink sticks out like like a highlighter somehow against all these highlighter colored kits, but it's top left corner and it's just there. And I was like, oh my goodness, the times have changed. Never in my life have I seen anything of this kind.
Well, the Times article talks about how now it's regular to see kids in England running around with these. And I as an MLS fan, it's perplexing because it's great on the one hand, but this is the second to last team
exactly
in the East.
Yeah.
Like they had that great Leagues Cup run, but in league play, they really haven't done
partially
anything.
because of his injury.
His injury, international duty, he was hardly here.
Yeah.
But it's just insane.
Yeah.
And it also points to the fact that I believe he's getting a percentage of all his jersey sales. So
he's not getting a cut of this one.
No, but he's doing fine. That's not the only thing you got or saw. And I asked you because I'm a fan of Malmo.
Malmö.
The Malmö.
I learned how to pronounce it in a train station.
Malmö FC.
Malmö.
All of their design. And I asked for something.
Yes.
And the only thing you could find was not from the soccer club, but from the candy stand.
Yeah.
So these are Lakritz Well, being of a Dutch background, both you and I like
Yeah, I know your fondness for salt licorice.
salt licorice. And this is not just normal salt licorice.
This is extra salty salt licorice.
With a sour.
No, this isn't sour.
Oh, really?
No. I got myself a sour one. But
Okay.
these are just regular.
I'm giving you one.
Okay.
So extra salt.
You can
So
see it.
anyone listening, we have to remember to explain things to our
Yes.
listeners. It looks like a dog, like a pet food pellet shape, a little cylinder
For a large
covered
dog.
with salt, black, and we're going to. Oh, that first kick.
It's like spicy. It's so salty.
It's like if you full on licked a salt lick.
You know, it basically is. And it's extra fine salt, too, on the outside.
Yeah.
And then the inside is salty as well, but it's like...
Oh, my God.
But I got you something else, too.
Why is that good?
Because.
Most people, oh, you got me something else as well.
Else. I got you this very special soccer badge.
AI is making magnets in Sweden.
I picked that up for you at in the Arctic Circle.
Oh my gosh! So it's it is a moose whose bones have been removed and is somehow still standing up.
He's on 2 feet playing
And
soccer.
he's playing soccer, and it looks like what the goal is just across Sweden's boundary because there's a line. I guess the outside the goal box, and then to the right of it just says Sweden. So he's an immigrating moose playing soccer.
What you don't realize is that was taken from a photograph. The moose do that up there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Actually, we were in Norway, and I did see some Norwegian kids playing football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a fjord.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That sounds amazing.
It was amazing. Against a moose.
Did they have like perfect teeth and just really healthy?
I didn't get too close.
Well, I'm going to post this week a little bit more about that AI experiment and some other things. So look out for that. We have the MLS playoffs tonight. Any predictions? Are you following any of the teams?
Well, it started while I was gone still.
Yeah.
So who's playing tonight? It is.
Well, the big one tonight is St. Louis and Kansas City. So arch rivals just because of geography on other sides of the state.
That's
They
very
don't
exciting.
like each other.
No.
St. Louis, our good friends in St. Louis have a soft spot for the Florida Noise, the Florida Noise guys and girls. And we spoke to them at the beginning of the season, and even they were like, this won't last.
Yeah.
They ended up winning the West, and so now they're going to have home field advantage. The City Park is going to be bumping against their arch rivals from across the state, Sporting Kansas City.
Kansas City.
To be called Sporting, shouldn't you be like a full sporting club that has like
I don't
baskets?
know. To be Inter Miami, shouldn't there be?
Well, they are technically international because their team is full of international players.
But it's they derived it from Inter.
No, that's the whole thing. Yeah. Let's go back. to like fire type names, you know?
Yeah.
It should be like
Fire and wave.
It should
and
be the fried ravioli, St. Louis, the Arches.
the St. Louis Arches.
Yeah.
The
The St. Louis City Museums.
The St. Louis.
The St.
Louis's.
The Louisians.
The St. Louis and Clarkians.
Oh, the Louis. Anyway, that's an exciting one. That's the game at the end of the evening. Let's see. What else? I'll pull that back up here. We have Houston, RSL. That's an exciting one. And then actually it is Houston who kicked us out of the Cup. Cincinnati Red Bull. And I think that's it for tonight. So I think, it's hard to say this beginning of the league, but the game I'm definitely watching tonight is St. Louis. And, I'm just going to go ahead and say they win the whole thing. They're going to win MLS Cup.
I would love to see
St.
that.
Louis. And then we'll have Florida Noise back on.
I would love to see St. Louis win over like LA, because part of the fun thing about MLS is that for the most part it is still really like
there's parity. Right?
Anybody can win except
for
the Fire.
Well, they are a parody.
Okay.
There is parody, and then some teams are a parody of a soccer team. Anything else you're looking forward to this week? You said Leeds, Ipswich. That's exciting.
Yeah,
so
that's
they can
exciting
have a
for me.
little competition.
Little competition, because it's been a cakewalk. So that and that'll be exciting. Also look forward to watching MLS playoffs. It'll also be fun.
All right. And we also some big design things coming up for the Footy Museum that we're going to finalize this week, and exciting talks with different groups for our first exhibition, which will be available for institutions to rent starting in March, and it will be being shipped out a year from now. So exciting.
It is very exciting.
It is a good time to be in the held halls of the
Footy
Museum. All right. We will see you, and you will hear us. Actually, you will see us and hear us next week. We won't see or hear any of you, both of you, unless you're Maria.
Bye, Mom and Dad.
Okay. Goodbye.